What if God silenced you for 9 months, so that the first words you spoke would change history? The incense smoke rose gently inside the temple. Zechariah, an aged priest with weary hands, trembled as he carried out his sacred duty. He had served God faithfully for decades, though his heart still carried one unanswered prayer: a child. Elizabeth, his wife, was righteous and kind, but her womb remained barren. That day, as Zechariah placed the incense before the altar, a sudden light filled the room. His breath caught. A figure stood before him, majestic, radiant, terrifying yet calm. "Do not be afraid, Zechariah," the angel said, his voice like rushing waters. "Your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son. You shall name him John. He will be great in the sight of the Lord." Zechariah staggered backward. His lips quivered. At my age? At hers? He wanted to believe, yet the years of disappointment had hardened his faith. "How shall I know this?" he whispered. "For I am an old man, and my wife is advanced in years." The angel's gaze burned with holy fire. "I am Gabriel, who stands in the presence of God. Because you did not believe my words, you will be silent, unable to speak, until the day these things take place." Instantly, Zechariah felt his tongue lock. His voice vanished. Panic surged as he tried to speak, but no sound came. The priests waiting outside grew restless. When he emerged, he could only wave his arms, pointing toward heaven, muttering soundless breaths. They knew he had seen a vision, but none could understand. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Zechariah was trapped in silence. Not only speechless, but deaf. People had to make signs for him, Luke 1 verse 62, and the world became a muted blur. First, it was torment. He longed to explain, to teach, to sing psalms. Instead, his mind was forced into stillness. Alone with God, he replayed Gabriel's words again and again. "Your prayer has been heard." Perhaps, for the first time, Zechariah listened more deeply than he had in all his priestly years. Meanwhile, Elizabeth's belly grew. The house once filled with sorrow now echoed with laughter and hope. Neighbors whispered that the old woman carried a miracle. Yet Zechariah could not answer them. He smiled, nodded, wept silently, but words never came. Finally, the child was born. On the 8th day, relatives crowded into the home for the circumcision. Tradition dictated he be named after his father, Zechariah. But Elizabeth shook her head firmly. "No. He shall be called John." The crowd protested. "No one in your family has that name." They turned to the mute priest, gesturing for him to decide. Zechariah reached for a tablet and, with slow, trembling strokes, wrote, "His name is John." At that moment, something burst inside him. His tongue loosened, his ears opened. Breath rushed out in a cry of freedom. "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel," he shouted, tears streaming down his face. His voice, unused for 9 months, now thundered with prophecy. He declared that his son would prepare the way for the Messiah, and the entire village stood in awe. From silence to song, from unbelief to unshakable faith, God used silence not to punish Zechariah, but to prepare him. In stillness, his doubts were stripped away, so that when he finally spoke, his words carried prophecy, power, and praise.